Have never been arrested before.
If you think this is the best for our children, we need new members to replace you four.
I have never in my life been arrested, and I'm 73 years old. I've never had a speeding ticket.
Charged with revealing grand jury evidence.
They didn't handcuff me. They shackled me.
And I saw Dawn standing there. I'm assuming it was like a holding cell.
I was hoping she was coming to get me out of jail, but then I saw the handcuffs on her and all, and
He looked at me, and I held my hands up with the cuffs. And Dawn's face just fell.
this is going to be the end of this newspaper career right here, because in a small town, you don't get arrested and stay in a public job.
Sherry Digman, Ashley Four, Cindy Jackson, and Don Fletcher never imagined that they would end up in jail in Lower Alabama. How the Atmore Four got there is a winding tale that should concern every American. Sherry Digman is a pillar of the community in Escambia County, Alabama.
I've been reporting in Atmore for almost 35 years. I had covered schools for so many years and had been in and out of the schools, had interacted with teachers and principals.
Sherry and the other board members were unhappy with the way that school superintendent Michele McClung treated people in the district.
Now, I know every superintendent likes to have their own people in place, and I understand that. But she was pushing out people who have served for decades and have served well. Teachers would get in touch with me and say, don't mention my name, but this is going on, but we're so afraid of retaliation.
Superintendent Michele McClung made powerful friends in Escambia County, like District Attorneys Stephen Billy and Sheriff Heath Jackson. Both men used the weight of their offices to support her. In August 2023, McClung's allies called a surprise vote to renew her contract. Although the board wasn't set to consider her contract for another 6 months, they were voting to give her a 4-year contract extension for an unspecified amount of money. The vote failed 4-3.
And we're up now to action items. Item number 6, action items, to discuss the superintendent's evaluations and next steps. It is a wise decision on the part of this board to move to the next steps.
Brother Chairman, I make a motion to renew the employment contract with Superintendent Michele McClung.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
I'm not.
No. No. With a vote of 4-3, it has been motioned that we will not today renew the superintendent's contract.
Of the 14 years that I've been on the school board, we have never renewed a contract for the superintendent that early as what she wanted.
After the first vote failed, the sheriff and the district attorney began a loud public campaign to support McClung, threatening anyone who stood in her way. Meanwhile, they started a bogus investigation behind the scenes. Billy subpoenaed the board for records, and Sheriff Jackson served the papers on payroll supervisor Ashley Four.
I said, yes, sir. Sheriff, what can I do for you? And he said, well, I've got a subpoena. There was nothing on the subpoena that led me to believe that it was top secret or confidential. The only person that I shared that subpoena with at that time was Ms. Richardson, my CSFO, who was also named on said subpoena.
Richardson, the school's chief financial officer, then sent the subpoena to Cindy, who shared it with other board members.
I did not know that it was confidential. It did not say anything on there. It was confidential when the CFO sent it to me.
When the board considered McClung's contract again, Billy stood up and warned that opposing McClung was against the law.
At this time, we're going to have our hardworking district attorney, Mr. Steve Billy, to come and share comments with us at this time.
Okay. Like people in communities have been hearing things from board members that things about Ms. McClung and things that she had done, that she was going to be indicted by a grand jury. I don't control much, but I do control a grand jury of this county. And I can tell you, this lady right here is not going to be brought before a grand jury because there's nothing to bring before a grand jury. I stated that your oath of office you took. Did you take that lightly? If you look under Alabama Code 16.1-41.1, look at your duties as a board member. Look at that. That's what you took an oath of office to uphold.
Make a motion to renew the employment contract with Superintendent Michele McClung.
For the first time in 12 years, I'm ashamed of being on this board. And I'm ashamed of the members who voted no, because they, as Mr. Billy said, gave their oath to do the best for the children.
I just couldn't understand what all this was about and why he was doing that when, you know, he's never been before and now he's wanting to tell us what to do.
Regardless of how everybody else was going to vote, I was going to vote no to extend or renew the contract. I just felt that strongly about it.
No one changed their vote, so Billy and Sheriff Jackson retaliated. Deputies then seized Cindy and Sherry's phones, prompting Don Fletcher to write a story for Atmore News. That story revealed the DA's subpoena.
The story that we wrote in that same issue about the BOE investigations and all, that was all routine to me until Steve Billy let it hit a sore spot on him.
Billy's subpoena was a trap. In response to Don's story, he charged the Atmore 4 with revealing grand jury secrets. But there was no grand jury.
So we published it and then went to jail because of it.
According to the court documents, 4 is accused of providing grand jury investigation information to members of the media. Fletcher's accused of printing an article containing grand jury investigation information. Well, it's still unclear what the accusations are against Digman, but according to jail records, she's facing the same charge as 4 and Fletcher.
Billy kept up his harassment of Sherry for the next 4 months, trying to force her out of office.
After the first arrest, Steve Billy had me arrested a second time for ethics violation, and there was also a prayer for impeachment from office. He had me arrested a third time for bond reduction, which I did not ask for and did not know he was doing.
Just 1 week after Sherry's third arrest, Billy suddenly withdrew from the cases. He finally admitted to the court that he had both personal and professional conflicts that should have kept him from filing the charges in the first place. The state attorney general took over and quickly dropped all the charges. But for the Atmore 4, the damage was done.
I had to borrow $6,000, $1,000 to pay 10% to the bonding agency and $5,000 for the retainer for the attorney.
So it's cost us quite a bit monetarily, and then what I can say about what it has done to me, my husband, my children, there are no price tags for what it has cost us. I had to ask permission to go take care of my father. I had to ask permission to go outside the state of Alabama. We had already started the paperwork to ask permission to go watch my son, who is serving this country, graduate from basic training when the case was dismissed.
During that time, I was not able to eat. I threw up. I couldn't sleep. I had anxiety. They called me in some medicine, and to this day I'm still on it.
The DA and sheriff haven't faced any consequences for retaliating against the Atmore 4. That's why IJ is suing. The First Amendment ensures that government officials can't use their authority to punish people who disagree with them.
What I hope to accomplish with this lawsuit is to get some of my dignity back. The truth is going to come out.
And that's been a real realization for a lot of people. They can do this to anybody. They can come and arrest you, and they will if they feel like they have cause. I hope the lawsuit makes people realize that you do have recourse, that there is somebody out there who is willing to come in and stand beside us and realize that this was wrong. Even in a small town in a small county, it's just wrong.